Verma and Lakshmi Mandalika ji, who will guide us into deeper reflections on illusion and reality. Now, let me introduce our first speaker, Sagishri Hari Verma. Sagishri Hari Verma is a filmmaker from Andhra Pradesh and the first Indian alumnus Oscar Gold Fellowship. He has directed a wide range of creative work, including commercials, documentaries, and fictional short films. Since 2022, he has been an active member of the Theosophical Society and is associated with the Adyar Lodge. Today, he will be speaking on thought-provoking topic, the holographic universe, theosophy, and the scientific view of Maya. So over to you, Hari.
Thank you so much, Shariyu, for the introduction. A very warm welcome to all of you. It's a privilege to be here at the 102nd South Indian Conference of the Theosophical Society in the company of fellow seekers. The title of my talk is The Holographic Universe, Theosophy, and the Scientific View of Maya. Most of us in this room know and love H.P. Blavatsky, but let us take just a moment to remember who she was, because her credentials for this conversation are extraordinary. She published The Secret Doctrine in 1888, a work she described not as her own invention, but as a compilation and interpretation of teachings from a far older source. She wrote in a time when there was no quantum physics, no neuroscience of consciousness, no knowledge of the electromagnetic spectrum as we understand it today. There was no brain scanning tools, no particle accelerators. And yet, as we shall see today, passage after passage of the Secret Doctrine reads like it was written in conversation with the most advanced science of the 21st century. The question we are holding today is not was HPB right, but rather what is it that both she and modern science seem to be pointing towards? I have based my entire presentation on one particular passage from the Secret Doctrine. Secret Doctrine, Volume 1, page 39. Let me read this passage slowly. Please sit with each phrase as I read it. Quote, Maya or illusion is an element which enters into all finite things. For everything that exists has only a relative, not an absolute reality, since the appearance which the hidden noumenon assumes for any observer depends upon his power of cognition. Unquote. Now notice, she did not say Maya enters into some things or most things. She said all finite things, every object, every perception, every experience you have ever had, relative, not absolute. And then she gives us something remarkable. She says the appearance depends upon the observer's power of cognition. Reality is not fixed out there, it is shaped by the one who perceives it. She then continues with a beautiful illustration. Quote, to the untrained eye of the savage, a painting is at first an unmeaning confusion of streaks and daubs of color, while an educated eye sees instantly a face or a landscape. Unquote. Same painting, completely different reality because of the power of cognition. She continues, quote, nothing is permanent except the one hidden absolute existence which contains in itself the nomina of all realities. Unquote. Behind every appearance, every flower, every face, every thought, there is a hidden nominal reality. The appearance changes, the nomenon does not. Quote, the existences belonging to every plane of being, up to the highest Dhyan Johans, are in degree of the nature of shadows cast by a magic lantern on a colorless screen. Unquote. A magic lantern, a colorless screen, shadows, written in 1888, and this, as we shall see in a moment, is almost word for word the description of what modern physics calls the holographic principle. She ends with this, quote, only when we shall have reached the absolute consciousness and blended our own with it, shall we be free from the delusions produced by Maya, unquote. This is not pessimism, it is a map. The goal of our journey as souls is to see through the screen, to know that light, to know the light that casts the shadow. The scientific framework, the holographic universe. Look at this image for a moment, a two-dimensional surface on the left, and from it, a three-dimensional reality projected outward. This is not a spiritual metaphor. This is what is currently being seriously debated by some of the greatest physicists alive today. The question they're asking is this: is our three-dimensional universe with all its stars, galaxies, mountains, and oceans actually a projection of information encoded on a two-dimensional boundary? It sounds fantastical, but it emerged from real mathematics, from the study of black holes, quantum gravity, and what happens to information at the edge of the universe. And the moment you see this image alongside HPB's magic lantern passage, the colorless screen, the shadows, the actual figures remaining invisible, something quietly shifts. Let me explain the holographic principle in its simplest possible terms. Physicists Leonard Susskind and Gerard Hooft proposed that all the information needed to describe everything inside a volume of space can be encoded on a two-dimensional boundary surrounding that space. Think of it like this. Everything happening in a room could theoretically be described entirely by information written on the walls. This came from studying black holes. When something falls into a black hole, its information is not destroyed. It is preserved on the surface of event horizon. The 3D object becomes 2D information. Now, in a hologram, if you cut the holographic plate in half, both halves still show the complete image. Every fragment contains the whole. This is why HPB's statement that the macrocosm is mirrored in the microcosm is not poetry, it is precise description of how a hologram works. Every part contains the whole. Every soul mirrors the universe. Different languages, one extraordinary truth. The perception gap, reality as a controlled hallucination. Now let's talk about what reality is as we perceive it. Let us bring this completely into our daily lived experience. Because Maya is not an abstract philosophical concept, it is happening right now in this very room, in your eyes and ears and nervous system. The light we see, the entire range of colors from violet to red, spans frequencies from 430 to 790 terahertz. This is less than 0.0035% of the electromagnetic spectrum, less than one half of 1%. The rest, radio waves, microwaves, X rays, gamma rays, and so on, all are completely invisible to us and beyond our perception. The sounds we hear span only 20 to 20,000 hertz. Elephants communicate in infrasound we cannot detect. Bats navigate in ultrasound we are deaf to. The silent forest is roaring, we simply cannot hear it. And then the most astonishing fact of all. Modern science now confirms that 95% of universe consists of dark matter and dark energy, which we cannot see, touch, or measure directly. 95% of reality is a hidden phenomenon. The neuroscientist Anil Seth calls our experience of reality a controlled hallucination. The brain does not photograph the world. It does not perceive the world as it is. It predicts what it expects to see or feel or perceive and corrects that prediction using incoming signals. What you experience as seeing is your brain's best guess. We are not witnessing reality, we are not perceiving reality, we are constructing it moment by moment from the inside based on the limitations of our perception. HPB opens the three fundamental propositions. HPB opens the secret doctrine with three fundamental propositions. And when we look at them through the lens of the holographic universe, they take on a startling new resonance. The first, the boundless principle, an omnipresent, eternal, immutable absolute beyond all human thought. In holographic terms, this is the light source, the unmanifest ground from which all projection emerges, unchanged, unchanging. The second, the law of periodicity. Manvantara and Pralaya, the universe breathes in and out, appears and disappears in cycles. This is the pulse, the on off of the projection. Even in digital terms, all information is ultimately ones and zeros, presence and absence. The third, Universal identity. Every spark is fundamentally identical with the universal oversoul. All life is interconnected. And this is the holographic property itself. Every fragment contains the whole image. The spark is the flame. These three propositions are not theological assertions, they are the source code, the unchanging light, the pulse of the projection, and the unity of all data. Fohat, the cosmic laser. Now, here is one of the most fascinating parallels in the entire presentation. In the secret doctrine, Fohat is described as the cosmic electricity, the active dynamic energy that serves as the bridge between divine thought and cosmic matter. It is the force through which the Logos impresses its ideas upon the substance of the universe. In holographic physics, a hologram is not created by ordinary light. It is created by a laser, coherent, focused, specific light. The laser splits into two beams, a reference beam and an object beam, and their interference pattern is what creates the hologram. Fohat is the cosmic laser. It carries the instructions. It is a medium through which the implicate becomes explicate, through which the 2D information becomes the 3D experience. HPB described it as the guiding power of all manifestation, exactly as an electrical signal carries data to a display screen. The universe is not random, it is informed, and Fohat is the carrier of that information. The ring pass knot, and the event horizon. In the secret doctrine, the Lipikas, the great recorders, draw around each world of manifestation a boundary called the ring pass knot. It is the limit of the manifest, the edge beyond which a soul at its current stage of development cannot pass. In modern physics, the event horizon of a black hole is a boundary beyond which the information is stored in a fundamentally different way. The ordinary laws of three-dimensional space cease to apply. What falls in is encoded on the surface. Both are boundaries between two modes of existence, the manifest and the unmanifest, the conditioned and the unconditioned, the relative and the absolute. The ring pass knot is not a punishment or a prison, it is a description of the current limits of consciousness. The edges of the hologram that a particular soul can currently read. And just as in physics, the event horizon is not a wall but a threshold. In theosophy, the ring pass knot dissolves as ego grows. The horizon expands. More of the hologram becomes readable. More of the noumenon shines through the phenomenon. As above, so below, the fractal universe. The ancient Hermetic axiom, as above, so below, is perhaps the most compact description of the holographic principle ever written. A hologram has one defining property above all others. Every fragment contains the whole. Cut a holographic plate into 100 pieces, each piece still shows the complete image, just from a slightly different angle. Modern fractal geometry has discovered that in nature is built on exactly this principle. The branching pattern of a tree is repeated in its roots, in its veins, in the river systems of continents, in the structure of the lungs, in the clustering of the galaxies. The secret doctrine says the spark is the flame. Every atom reflects the structure of the solar system. Every human being contains the complete information of the absolute. J.K. Famously said, in each human being is the entire humanity. This is not a metaphor. This is the mathematics of self similarity, the universe literally encoding its own pattern at every scale, the way a hologram encodes the whole image in every fragment. The observer effect and the power of consciousness. This slide brings us perhaps to the most philosophically exciting convergence of all. In quantum physics, a particle does not have a definite position or a definite state until it is observed. Before observation, it exists as a wave function, a cloud of infinite possibilities superimposed upon each other. The act of measurement collapses that wave function into a single definite reality. John Wheeler, one of the great physicists of the 20th century, said, no phenomenon is a phenomenon until it is an observed phenomenon. Reality at its most fundamental level is not fixed until someone looks. And now recall HPB's words from 1888. The appearance which, quote, the appearance which the hidden nomenon assumes for any observer depends upon his power of cognition, unquote. The nomenon, the quantum wave function, collapses into a specific phenomenon, a specific reality based on the power of the observer. What HPB call the power of cognition, quantum physics calls the observer effect. Both are saying the same extraordinary thing. Consciousness is not a passenger in the universe, it is a participant. It does not merely observe reality, it participates in its creation. The Akashic records, the cosmic hard drive. Most theosophists are familiar with the concept of Akashic records, but let us look at it afresh through a holographic lens. HPB describes Akasha as the universal soul, a spiritual essence pervading all space, which she calls the indestructible tablet of the universe. Every thought, every event, every vibration is imprinted upon this medium. Nothing is ever truly lost. The Lipikas, the great scribes or recorders, project into objectivity the ideal plan of the universe from the passive universal mind. They are, in our language, cosmic information processors. Now consider this from modern physics. It is a fundamental law that information cannot be destroyed. Even if you burn a book, the information exists in the smoke, the heat, the motion of the molecules. It is transformed but not lost. The universe is perfectly, completely conservative of information. And the holographic boundary of a black hole preserves every detail of whatever falls in, written on the surface, encoded in two dimensions, perfectly preserved. The Akashic record is not a mystical library. It is the universe's own inherent property of perfect information conservation. The physicist Stephen Hawking spent decades wrestling with what became known as the black hole information paradox, the question of whether information truly disappears when it crosses an event horizon. The eventual resolution, still being worked out today, suggests that the information is preserved, encoded on the surface of the event horizon in a two-dimensional form. The, t- the three-dimensional object that fell in is completely described by two-dimensional information on the boundary. This is a holographic principle at its most concrete. Three-dimensional reality encoded on a two-dimensional surface. The volume described by its boundary. And then there's the zero point field, what calls the quantum vacuum. Empty space is not empty. It is a field of infinite potential energy, fluctuating, alive, ready to give birth to particles and antiparticles at any moment. The stanzas of Xian describe the void before creation as not empty, but pregnant, the Great Mother, containing all potentiality in perfect stillness. The zero point field is a scientific name for what ancient teachings called the void, the chaos, or the great deep. Piercing the veil from shadow to substance. Now we come to the most important question of all, not mere intellectual, but deeply personal. If this is true, if reality is kind of controlled holographic projection, then what does that mean for us? What do we do with it? The secret doctrine speaks of Eye of Nangma, the purified spiritual vision that can look beyond the Mayavic layers to see the one reality. This is not a metaphor for cleverness or philosophical sophistication. It is the faculty of direct perception, the awakening of a mode of knowing that goes beyond the sense instruments. And it tells us that we are each a microcosm, a complete holographic fragment containing the whole. A sevenfold constitution from the physical body to the Atmic principle mirrors the sevenfold structure of the universe itself. The path of awakening, in holographic terms, is the progressive ability to read more and more of the hologram, to move from the shadowy projection on the screen towards the light that casts it. Meditation, ethical living, study, these are all not religious obligations. They are the means by which the power of cognition is expanded, by which the observer becomes capable of collapsing ever subtler wave functions, by which ego moves, in HPB's beautiful phrase, through a series of progressive awakenings. Science is beginning to confirm what the ancient wisdom teachings have always maintained, that consciousness is not a passive spectator of reality but an active participant in its creation. Neuroplasticity, the science of how the brain physically rewires itself, shows that sustained meditation literally changes the physical structures of the brain. The meditator is not just thinking different thoughts, they're building a different instrument of perception, a different power of cognition. And if reality is indeed a controlled hallucination, if what we experience as the world is our nervous system's best prediction model, then changing the predictor changes the predicted. Changing the observer changes the observed, as JK often said. This is why the theosophical path of inner transformation is not separate from the question of how we perceive reality. It is the question. To purify consciousness is to upgrade the instrument by which reality is read, to shift from a sense of separation to a sense of unity, as the teachings consistently urge, is in quantum language to collapse a different wave function. To live as if all life is one is not naive idealism. It may be the most accurate perception available to a human being. One truth, many traditions. The common thread across these diverse traditions is a recognition that our physical world is a secondary derived reality, a shadow or projection of a more fundamental unified source. In Hinduism, this is expressed through Advaita Vedanta and the concept of Maya, which describes the world as relative appearance that masks the only absolute reality, the infinite. Jagat Mithya, as said by Adi Shankaracharya. Buddhism mirrors this through sunyata, teaching that all phenomena are empty of inherent existence, appearing only as fleeting reflections or dreams. Sufi mysticism describes the world as a hijab or a veil of God, suggesting that humanity exists in a state of spiritual sleep until death brings a true awakening. Similarly, Gnostic and Christian mystic traditions speak of seeking through a glass darkly, viewing the material world as a dim, distorted reflection of the pleroma or divine fullness. And even in great philosophical traditions like Plato's cave analogy, when juxtaposed with modern science, specifically the holographic principle, these ancient insights find a striking contemporary parallel. The theory that our three-dimensional universe is a projection of a quantum information stored at a distant boundary. Whether called Maya, Sunyata, a holographic projection, the synthesis remains the same. What we perceive as solid matter is actually condensed information. And the upward progress of ego is the journey of piercing these layers of illusion to reach the absolute consciousness. We have traveled far today, from neuroscience to quantum physics, from the stanzas of Zen to the mathematics of black holes. Let us now return to where we began. Let me read the passage I read in the beginning from the Secret Doctrine once more, this time perhaps with new ears. Quote, Maya or illusion is an element which enters into all finite things. For everything that exists has only a relative, not an absolute reality. Since the appearance which hidden nomenon assumes for any observer depends upon his power of cognition. Unquote. We now know that hidden nomenon, it is 95% of the universe that is dark matter and dark energy. It is the quantum wave function before observation. It is the interference pattern on the holographic plate before the light shines through. And we know what the power of cognition means. Not just intelligence, but the degree of purification of consciousness, the subtlety of the instrument of perception, the capacity of the observer to see past the shadow to the light that casts it. Every stage of our evolution has felt like final reality. The child's world feels completely real to the child. The adult looks back and sees how limited the reality was and does not grieve it. They simply have woken up. I want to close with a thought about why this convergence matters, not intellectually, but for our lives and our world. We live in a time of extraordinary fragmentation where science and spirituality are treated as opposites, where the inner life is dismissed by materialism, where the ancient wisdom traditions are treated as relics. But we have seen today, but what we have seen today is the most advanced edge of modern physics is arriving by a completely different road at the same fundamental insights that H.P. Blavatsky drew from ancient wisdom, that the reality is not what appears, that consciousness is primary, that the part contains the whole, and that all separation is at the deepest level an illusion. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hari, for the deeply engaging and beautifully accurate talk. Now, I would like to invite our next speaker, Lakshmi Mandalika ji. Lakshmi Mandalika ji holds a master's degree in English literature along with BA and has served as a dedicated teacher in Kendriya Vidyalaya. She is a committed member of the Theosophical Society from Vaivaswatha Manu Lodge, Vishakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh, where she currently serves as a president. She is also the vice president of the Telugu Federation. Since 2019, she has been consistently conducting daily online study classes on theosophy and the teachings of J. Krishnamurti, guiding many sincere seekers on the path of inquiry and self understanding. In a remarkable act of dedication, she has generously donated her house and land to the Theosophical Society and to J. Krishnamurti Study Center. Today, she will be speaking on the topic, do we really want to remove illusion? Over to you, Lakshmi.
Thank you, madam, for your introduction. See, today's topic that our main theme is by removing illusion, paves the path to reality. But if we see, we study so many things like Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, and so many greater books we read. But if we sincerely question before reading and after reading, is there any change in me? Then we can see what is happening inside us. And we all know reality is, it cannot be perceived with the senses and with the mind, but always we are happy in the sensual pleasures and we are after the sensual pleasures. And we read, we listen, and we speak also so many things. But are we living in that way up to the point? That is the thing we have to question. I feel we all say that I am for reality, but am I ready to live my own, not physically, my own people, or my own property, or my longing for power? All these are secure. People are thinking that my people will be in one room, and in the next room, my property and my things will be there. In the third room, the reality must be there. Is it possible? And always we speak, we gather a lot of information and a lot of things also. And we all know that this body is not permanent. And in that way, these things are not permanent. It is said that body is Sariramadhyam Khalu Dharma Sadhanam. It is an instrument to do dharma, the righteous works. But are we living in that way? We came here to suck the nectar of the bliss, that happiness. But after coming, as a housefly, it comes to the sugar solution to suck that solution. But after coming, its legs and everything is stuck in the solution. In that way, our purpose and what for we came we forget, and we are stuck in the sensual pleasures. And always we try to accumulate. But this here accumulation won't work. We have to empty. But always those books and a lot of things we accumulate, the knowledge we accumulate. For reality, knowledge must be emptied. In Shiva Sutras, it is said, Jnanam Bandha, means that knowledge is binding us and it is preventing us to know the reality. But always we gather a lot of knowledge and we do a lot of rituals to please Almighty God or truth. But all these things, without seeing ourselves, we always do this as a routine way? Are we getting any peace of mind or anything we never question? I have to do this and we do that like a routine, or else we have so many beliefs. And if we question ourselves without a belief, where am I? And we always see outside. We learn so many things from the outside world. But that Krishnamurti ji says that creative intelligence is for everybody. Why is few people are getting that? It's not only for limited people, it is for everyone. This is because from the childhood, we are not taught that self-knowledge. Self-knowledge is very much essential. From the childhood, it must be taught by the parents, from the parents and the teachers. But we always see outside and we never see ourselves. Then what is self-knowledge? Somebody asked him. And he said, moment to moment observing our own thoughts, feelings, reactions. This is very essential. Even though we know so many things, why we are not able to live? Is there no desire? Or is it any weakness? We never question ourselves. I know that accumulation is a waste, but why I accumulate? I know the power monging is a waste, the domination is a waste. And I always feel that I'm not the body, but I always live identifying myself with the body and the mind. What is that making us like this? And in Tripura Rahasya, Dattatreya says to Parasurama, this entire world is an image in the mirror. We can perceive this world only with the senses. Beyond the senses, this is not there. But we give a lot of importance if we question ourselves, our own belongings, our own people, a lot of partiality, my children, somebody's children. Why is it existing like that? Krishnamurti says, J.B. Krishnamurti says that family system is destroying the society. How? My family, my people are giving importance to their family members, and they're not able to love the others. So in this way, it is dividing. The division leads to destruction. In my mind also, like we see in everybody's mind, we observe you are the world, like that we see that whatever I feel, my world is different, other person's world is different. But we don't remember that point and world is like this has this, like that we are giving values and we have an image of the world. We have images. You see, generally we get hurt if there is no pride. Why we are hurt? We have an enemy image that I am this. I have a lot of knowledge. I know everything. I am this great. If the image is not there, there is no hurt. If we see the reality in the sentences, there is no hurt. The image is making us hurt. In this way, identification and we are always seeking comforts. Here, the comfort of the body, we are giving a lot of importance. And that is why, for the sensual pleasure's sake, from the beginning till the end, we are after money. And when the children are born, we are making them as money earning machines. If they are not, we are not giving any value. And we feel whatever temporary things important, we make them feel like that. The next generation also must be like that. We never question, am I happy with this life of accumulation of things, ideas, and knowledge? We are contented with this because we wish something, we desire, and my desire is fulfilled, so I am happy. But is this happiness permanent? Again, there is conflict. There is, because I am like this, I must be like that, and I am always trying to become something, and there is continuous conflict. And as a result, there is sorrow and pain. And where there is the urge for reality. Ramana Maharshi says, by killing the mother, we are all living. Who is the mother? The reality. From the morning till the night, we never remember that. We are after earning something, either things, power, authority, and we are happy with that. We know, we talk that I am not this body, and that I is made up of the mind only. Who is this I? My own thoughts, my own whims and fancies, my feelings, my accumulations, my bank balance, all these things, my knowledge, my experiences, all these things we call I. And we see, we have a feeling, a solidified I is there. And we, for that sake, we have been accumulating so many things. And anytime, if we really remember our nature, and then we don't be after these things, but always I feel that these are, people must think that I am this. Why? Why this type of thoughts we are allowing? And because we are not thinking of reality, we are not bothering about the reality. We are bothering about the unreal things of the world. And we always pray Asatoma Sadgamaya, but we are living in the illusion, Asat, and that very truth, we keep it far away. We never think of that because sometimes it is dangerous for our security. We are very secure with the illusion. And though we feel the vanity, vain of the vanity and all these things, we give a lot of importance for such things. And why I am not changing? Why I am after these things only? Am I forgetting? Or am I not giving importance to the scriptures or whatever is there? Okay, we need not give importance, but are we not feeling these are not permanent? We all see that all people die. One day I also die. Then why? I always say that I am permanent. I always think that I am permanent in the world. And in Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says that nishkama karma, that is desireless actions. And in our theosophy, we say service without expectation. That will purify the mind. But are we trying for it? When we do a little bit of service, we want some type of compensation or result or something. Why can't we live? Because we are living then and there. And we all talk about the law of karma. And for all these accumulations, we do so many unjust things, but we never bother. So this type of illusion is because of ignorance. And that ignorance, always we nurture inside us, that is giving us some type of happiness. My things, my people, and they will serve me, they will help me. These are feelings Even though a learned person we ask, is like that only. Means this knowledge only to listen and tell? Is it not for living? And that type of happiness, why we are not getting? We are happy with the very, very limited sensual pleasures. And that reality is love and compassion, and not that love which is selfish, like I love my husband, I love my wife, I love my children. Not this love. So when your mind is still, then that love will be there. We all know. But always we do all the things with the mind only. Okay, mind is required in some activities, but the same mind is not helpful in to know ourselves. But we use mind only. How is it? How it will be? How will be the reality? How is the bliss? We want to know with the mind, and it cannot be perceived with the mind. And in this way, if we observe ourselves, am I after reality, or am I after the transient things? Our whole life we are spending for the transient things. Even many people, we see they are enlightened people, say they acquire money to improve their ashram or something. This path, the spiritual path is saying not collecting, gathering, it is empty. But we never do that. We never empty, because we say that there is a lot of the bliss is there, happiness is there, love is there, but we never be like that, because we have some type of insecurity, a fear. If I leave this illusion, this all these things, how can I live? That fear of emptying. If I am empty, you see in the right on the path there is a sentence that is, desire power ardently, but that power which make you nothing in the eyes of the world. But what we do? I must become something in the eyes of the world. Why? If I become nothing, what happens? What is the danger? We have no courage. And in the nothingness only everything is there. And that is the all the things we learn, we read, we do, all the things are different. Whatever we do are different. Why we are living this type of life? Because that lack of faith on the reality. And we don't have that little bit of experience that such a happiness will be there. Whatever happiness we are feeling in the sensual pleasures, into 1 crore or a crore to the power of crore happiness we get in that bliss, but we never feel that is there. And we are, from the morning to the night, if we write our diary, it is all filled with transient things only. All impermanent things. We are all after sensations. No, this country I felt, I went there, this Haridwar, Kedarnath. I have to go to some other countries. What we feel? After going, we feel sensations. And we are happy with the sensations. And after other countries, it is not enough, so I have to go to moon. Okay, all these sensations, are they helping us to be in reality? No. Sensations are preventing us. I go to Tirupati, I saw that idol of Venkateswara. Oh, I saw God. What are your experiences in Tirupati? There is a long line, people are pushing. These are all experiences we say after coming from Tirupati. So, why I'm saying this is, we are going there for reality, and we are accumulating all the transient things which are not at all necessary. And we pray God, meditation, as the book The Imitation of Christ by Thomas Kempis, he says very clearly that we give very less importance to God and our own comforts our own desires. We are giving a lot of importance, and that is why we are in pain, sorrow. Our own sorrow, we are only getting, nobody is giving us. I catch fire and I say that it must not burn. How it will happen? Like that, all transient things we are accumulating and we want the permanent happiness. Always we are seeking permanent happiness in impermanent things. That is why we are always in pain and sorrow, in misery. And our life, the reality as though it is very, very far. We have to bring from that, like from a long distance, people are thinking. Reality is inside us. We need not bring from anywhere. If we remove all our hindrances, that is there. But are we trying to remove our hindrances? The accumulation of knowledge is a hindrance. Because whatever we accumulate, we think in those lines only. And so many faiths we keep inside us, so many beliefs, and that belief is a thought. And any thought is a prevention to see the reality. And we always think with these thoughts only we have to find reality. When the thoughts are still, reality will be there. But always we are in the field of the mind. As Krishnamurti says, wherever mind is required, use it. And wherever it is not required, leave it. But only thing we know is we catch it very firmly. And certain beliefs that this only gives me security. Is there any security? Security to what? Always we are secure. I'm not the body. If we remember, are we seeking the security of the body? So why can't I live whatever I read? I live that like that only, leave it there only. It is, why don't we feel that when I will be changed? We only think it is a common thing. In the world, people are like that. All the things we read, we live, and we accumulate as in the golden stage, unveiled spiritual perception. Our spiritual perception is always with veil. It is covered. People must think that I am great. These are all the veils. If we have the sincere urge for reality, it won't take a lot of time. The sincerity is very much required. Honesty is very much required in the spiritual path. If the sincerity is there, you see, God says, if you come to me one step, I'll come to you 10 steps. But we don't feel that. We don't mind that. Okay, people say it is due to a lot of incarnations we are habituated. As Annie Besant, somebody asked Annie Besant why I know I am not the body, but I always feel that I am the body. Why? Then she told that from a lot of incarnations, thousands of incarnations, you are habituated to that feeling that you are the body. So you are feeling. So how much strongly it is there, that much strongly you have to try to cut it. And in that way, how much we are attempting to remove all illusions. And we nurture certain thoughts. This is very beautiful. For example, a beautiful scene we see, immediately we take the camera and we take photo. Instead of that, why don't you perceive the beauty without any observer? But we don't do that. And real knowledge is there. For example, wisdom and knowledge, both are different. By accumulation of many, or by reading so many books, we accumulate knowledge, but not wisdom. Wisdom is entirely different thing. And effortlessly, willpower is also an obstruction, because will is there, means again it is a desire. So I must get reality. That will is there, again it is an obstruction. Then as Dattatreya says, we have to remember what are in these the worldly things. What are the useless things? How they are useless? And what type of dangers we get by accumulating all these worldly things and by enjoying all these sensory pleasures? If we remember, we don't go to that, but we forget it. And then again and again, habitually, we accumulate. We feel safety and we compare. Those people have those things. I must have this, like that. So these all things are making us a lot of energy, thought energy we are wasting for impermanent things and the greatness of the impermanent things. And we never think, and very rarely people have that urge for reality. And those people immediately see the uselessness of the impermanent things and they don't accumulate. And people here is also a misunderstanding that, for example, I live a simple life, taking one time my meal and very common clothes I wear. That is not simplicity. That is only external simplicity. The internal simplicity is different because it cannot be shown in the outward way. So by removing all types of illusory feelings, the beauty is there, the comfort is there, the happiness is there outside. So these things we have to check ourselves and remove. And then only automatically, if I feel, I tell to other people, and like that, this type of feelings are increasing in the. See, nowadays, if we have love, will we kill anybody? Wars are happening because there is no love in the consciousness of the human being. We have all love, self expecting something. But if there is love, a person cannot kill other person. That's why Krishnamurti ji says urgency of change is required. What is that urgency is? What is that change? To know the self knowledge. That is the only solution. We always live in the past. We always compare. And because of that, how much trouble or misery we are getting, we know it, but we do that only. And like this, we are doing something, and there is, and telling something, thinking something. And that is why there is no harmony in our life. And we are not happy. Happiness is not in anything, it's in one's own self. But we always seek it in outside, outward things only. And that is the result. We are like this. And it is such a thing, it is beyond the mind. And we don't like to still the mind. And without it, there is no love, no compassion. And in human consciousness, love starts. One Buddha transformed so many people. He didn't write a book also. Like that, one enlightened person, one who feels that it is the reality, not this, it's not in our external things. By stilling the mind, reality is there. Love is there. Love cannot be cultivated. It cannot be developed. And people think their progress is in accumulation of the knowledge. The values are also like that. The more degrees I have, then I am very great. So this type of feeling we have to change. Our development is not in this accumulation. How much we live? Totally. Emptying is the greatest process. Always we are filled with so many things, the mind filled with so many things, it cannot perceive reality. So in some places, Suddha Manas, like that they say, it is same thing here. That is why from the morning to the night, we have been where we have been accumulating things without essence. Essence of essence is inside us, but we never bother. And we are so many times we are after many things and trying to accumulate so many things, so much of knowledge and our power. We also give a lot of importance to the people who have many degrees and who got power, authority. And if we see ourselves, we can know that we try to imitate others, we try to conform ourselves to certain type of pattern of behavior. And Samartha Ramadas, he said that duty is a type of snake. Oh, I have to do this, that, I have to fulfill this, I have to complete this. Like that, we are running after, and we never have time to see ourselves. That is why this reality is everything is inside. There is no jealousy because when there is love, no jealousy. Where there is love, jealousy is not there. And when everything is inside you, then no question of comparison. Always we compare that they have this, that I don't have this. So when the mind is still, when you look inside, choiceless awareness, it is a very good term. That is when we are looking inside, oh, this type of jealousy is there, it must not be there. And again we fight there, struggle. Not like that. We stuck there. And seeing inside without any condemnation, without any justification, when to see moment to moment awareness. Krishnamurti ji says, awareness is not of the mind, it is beyond the mind. Love is not of the mind, it is beyond the mind, our own nature. So, why can't we live? We are always, there must be a type of revolution inside us. Then only others cannot change us. We have to change ourselves. Why I am not living as I am telling? After reading, after learning so many things, before learning so many things, I am in the same way. There is no change. Why? Like that, a type of revolution must be there inside us. Then only the change, or else the to be in the reality, it can occur. But always, what for we are striving, we have to see, and we have to weigh that. Then only what morning till morning and night, every time, what my mind is thinking, how it is reacting, all these things, if we see, and when we understand that it's everything is inside us, then we don't crave for the external things. Thank you. My time is over, I think.
Thank you so much, Lakshmi ji, for your beautiful and heartfelt sharing. Your words gently challenged us to look within and question our own readiness to let go of illusion. Thank you once again. Now we'll have a short question and answer session. If you have any question for our today's speakers. Anyone?
I think everyone understood everything because the presentations were so great. So I think people will contemplate on both the talks, as I will do also. Thank you so much.
I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to both the speakers. And I want to thank all the participants for your attentive presence and thoughtful participation. Now, we'll now take a short break of 30 minutes. The next session will be in at 10:30. During this time, the meeting will stay open, and I'll share some theosophical videos.